Hey guys, it's Mr. Hing here. I hope you are good. Right, now we're going to be doing factorization. However, we're going to be looking at the trinomial method, okay? Trinomial method. I just want to show you something briefly. You'll see that I have made other videos with regards to factorization also over here and over here. My last two previous videos were factorization on HCF using the HCF method, the highest common factor, and then the difference of two squares method. And now we're going to be looking at the last way, almost in like this little series on looking at the three main ways to factorize. And as I said, we're going to be looking at the trinomial. So let's get right into it. Firstly, guys, with regards to trinomials, it's very important that you follow almost like an order on how to go and factorize something. So if you get a question and it says factorize, always look firstly if you can do the HCF method first, then you must do that. Then obviously you look at the second way, which is in the previous video, the difference of two squares. And then if not, you look at this last third way, which is called the trinomial method. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So the second point that I want to highlight to you before going and actually telling you how to do it is how do we identify it. So it would look something like this, guys, in this form. I know this may look a bit weird to you, but pretend that A is a number, B is a number, and C is a number. You would have these x squared and the x in this position, and you would have a constant. So it would look, I just gave three examples over here. It would look something like this when you are going to do a trinomial method. Remember, what does trinomial mean? It means an expression with three terms. So 1, 2, and 3. You can see they all have three terms. And then it has this x squared and this x looking like that. Okay. So why don't we jump right into how do you actually do it, Mr. Hing? Okay. So let's have a look over here. So let's say, for instance, we have this question in our test and it says factorize x squared plus 5x plus 6. You always remember, look if there is a highest common factor, and there is not. So you move on to difference of two squares, there isn't. And then for this video, I'm just going to tell you that all these questions will have to apply the trinomial method for factorizing. Okay, so step number one, once you have come to the conclusion that we need to do the trinomial method, step number one, you write it like this. So you open up brackets like that, two sets of brackets, and you write x and x. Why do you write x and x? Because this x goes over here and this x goes over here, as if you are basically square rooting it. Okay, something you can think of it like that. All right. So an x goes there and x goes there. What happens if I had an a squared and there was an a there rather? Well, then there would be the a would go there and the a would go there. Okay, I just wanted to explain the concept to you. All right. So that's step number one, very simple. Step number two, now we're getting into the more interesting part. So please pay close attention over here. So I just want to show you something over here. So what we do for step number two over here. So we have our two brackets over here, and we take our third term, and we now need to do something called get the factor pairs of the third term. So my third term is what? It's the value of 6. So now what we're going to do is we're going to list the factors of 6, but we're going to pair them together in a specific way. So if you can do the factors with me of 6, it's 1, 2, 3, and 6. Very nice and easy. And now what we're going to do is we need to list them specifically. We need to pair them up. We need to pair the factors up. So how do you do that, and why do you do that? So firstly, how do you do that? The factors that you pair up together are the factors that when you multiply them together, it gives you the third term. I'll say that again. When you multiply them together, so let's say for instance 1 times 6 gives me 6. So that is a correct pair. The 1 and 6, you put them next to each other. And then 2 and 3. 2 times 3 is also 6. So that is the correct pairing. So you put those next to each other. Okay, we're going to do many more examples, but for now, in our example, we're dealing with the number 6. So therefore, you list the factors as pairs. So 1 and 6 go next to each other, and 2 and 3 go next to each other. Okay, you with me? Now, let's go to step number 3. So step number 1, we write our brackets x and x. Step number 2, we keep that, but then on the side, we list our factors as pairs. Then what happens with step number 3? Step number 3 is very important, where we need to use our factor pairs, right? So you see I wrote them down again, 1 and 6, 2 and 3, but you must work them together in order to get our middle term value. And what's my middle term value over here? It is 5. Okay, so let's go through that together again. What you do is you take your factor pairs, 1 and 6, 2 and 3, and you must ask yourself, how can I plus and minus? What I usually say is, how can I work them together with plus and minus signs? So how can I either plus or minus, or plus and plus, or minus and minus? How can I do that? Make the pairs work together in order to get my middle term value, which was positive 5. So let's ask ourselves that question. Can 1 and 6 give me a positive 5? Yes, it can. If I have a plus 6, and I make my 1 a negative sign. If we had to do this calculation, minus 1 plus 6 does give me positive 5. Okay, that's correct. Good. And that is a pair that could work together. But now have a look at this. Can't I have a positive 2 and a positive 3 that work together? Look, 2 plus 3 equals 5 also. So how do I know which one am I supposed to use? Am I supposed to use the minus 1 plus 6 or the plus 2 plus 3? Because whatever answer we get over here, that is going to go into our brackets, which is so important. So, Mr. Ing, how do you choose if it's going to be minus 1 plus 6 or plus 2 plus 3? Please listen carefully now. What you are going to do is you are going to ask yourself, what is the sign of the third term's value? What is the sign here of the third term? So remember, we identified that my third term was 6, but is it negative or positive 6? It is positive 6. So there is a rule that says if the sign of the third term is a positive, then what ends up happening is both of your signs that must end up in the brackets must be the same sign. So I'm going to say, so just have a look at this note here. If it's positive, the third term, if it's positive, then you must have the same signs in the brackets. So it can either be plus and plus, or it can be minus and minus. It does not matter. So if we had a look at our options over here, we have minus 1 plus 6, and we have plus 2 plus 3. And what did I say? If my third term is positive, in this case, then I need to choose the option with the same signs. So this sign, these signs are not the same. So that's minus, that's a plus, and these signs are the same. So we're going to choose the plus 2 plus 3. And that is how we get our final answer. That is what you put into your brackets. And that is my final answer. Okay, let me just summarize quickly. So step number 1, you open up a set of brackets. You write x and x. Then step number 2, you keep that there, obviously, and then on the side, you work out your factors, and then you list the factor pairs together correctly. Step number 3, you work those pairs of factors together in order to get you the middle term, the middle term's value, the plus 5 plus 5. And then, just to double check which one you must choose, you must make sure that if the third term sign is positive, then it must be the same signs. If it's negative, then it's the opposite. Then they must not be the same signs. So either plus and minus or vice versa, minus and plus. Okay, I know that was a mouthful. I know it's 10 minutes down the line. So let's go practice some questions for a few minutes, and then we can see how it goes. So if you'd like, you can pause the video, and then you can do the questions and see if you can do it by yourself. And then you can come back and see if it's right. So let's look at letter A. Right, so it's a trinomial. There's no highest common factor. So we open up two brackets, as I said. We're going to write x, x. Then step number 2, we list the factors of 20. What's the factors of 20? The factors of 20 is 1, 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20. Now we need to list them as pairs. So 1 and 20 go together, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. So now step number 2 is done. Now step number 3 is which pairs of factors can I work together in order to get minus 9, the middle term's value, a negative 9. So if I say 1 and 20, can I plus and minus them together to get minus 9? No. 2 and 10, I can make, if I make 10 a positive and 2 a negative, it will give me 8. It doesn't give me 9. So now if I make 4 a minus and 5 a minus, it's minus 4 minus 5 does give me minus 9. And you check, is my third term sign positive? Yes. So both signs must be the same. And that is actually what we have. So we can go and put that in. It should be minus 4 and minus 5. It doesn't matter if they are swapped around. That's okay. If the brackets are swapped around. Okay, so let's have a look at another one. We're just going to continue going and seeing how we do together. So let's look at question B together. Over here, we open up brackets. We're going to write x, x, 12. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 12. 1 and 12 go together. 2, sorry, I forgot 6. 2 and 6 go together. And 3 and 4 go together. So which pairs can I work together in order to get me my middle term of negative 7? So if I make negative 3 negative and 4 negative, that gives me negative 7. And there you have it. And also the third term is a positive, and both my signs are negative, which is what we want. So we put that simply into the bracket and we get our full marks. Nice. Let's continue. Letter C. So is there a highest common factor? No. So we open up brackets. We put x and x. So we take our 24. We say 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. We pair them together. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And then we ask ourselves, do you remember step number 3? We ask ourselves, how are we going to work our factor pairs together to get me a positive 11? So let's have a look. Oh, I see. If I make the 3 a plus and the 8 a plus as well, then I am going to make positive 11. So I can put that in there, plus 3, and just to double check, is my third term positive? Yes. And are both my signs the same? Yes. So we know that we are 100% fine. Okay, let's have a look at letter D, our last one. So guys, what's important about D, please have a look, is that there's actually a highest common factor between the coefficients. So remember, I've always emphasized that if there's a HCF present, you must take that out first. Okay, 2 videos ago, I did a video on factorizing with HCF, so you can have a look at that if you've forgotten. So I'm just going to do that method quickly. So between 2, 18, and 36, the HCF for those is 2. So I'm going to take out a 2. Okay, so I'm going to write 2, open my bracket, and what's going to be left over, you take this divided by 2, we're going to get x squared left over. 18 divided by 2, positive 9x. And then the 36 divided by 2, that is going to be 18. All right, now what happens, guys, is that when you get a question saying factorize, you must always factorize completely. So if you draw your attention to this bracket over here in red, you can see that this is actually a trinomial that I can factorize again, which you need to do if possible. So let's do that together. How that looks is we continue, we bring that 2 down. We're going to open up our 2 brackets. We're going to write x, x, and then our 18, what are our factors? 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. And our pairing is 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So which pairs can I work together in order to give me a middle term value of positive 9? So if I have plus 3 and plus 6, that gives me positive 9. And then my third term sign is positive, so the signs need to be the same, and they are. So it's going to be plus 3 and plus 6. And that is my final answer. All right, guys. So that is how we do factorization using the trinomial method. I hope it's helpful. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to comment and yeah, just ask along. But with all that being said, if it's helpful, please like and share and subscribe. Yeah, it just gets the content distributed as needed. But with all of that, guys, I'll see you in the next video.